Hello friend, Recap Legends here. Today we are going to explain a motivational and inspirational movie named 300. This is the story of a warrior who never gave up, never bowed down, nor bowed his head before anyone. This is the story of a king who fought with a detachment of millions of soldiers, with a handful of brave warriors to save the people. This is the story of such a queen who agreed to have sex with other people to save her king. But before explaining the movie, know about the important character of this movie, so that you will not have any problem in understanding this movie, which are as follows. Leonidas, king of Sparta. Captain, army commander of Sparta. Xerxes, king of Persia. Dilios, a soldier of Leonidas' army. Theron, a member of Sparta's parliament. Now let's start the explanation of this movie 300, without wasting your time. So at the beginning of the film, we can see some Spartans, who have a small child in their hands and they are investigating that child. Because according to the Spartan beliefs, if a child was born short, hunchbacked or mentally handicapped, then he was killed. That is, the child born in the womb of the Spartan, later became brave warriors, who understand the matter of being martyr for their country, their people and themselves. At the same time, we can see Leonidas as the main character of this movie, whose age is 7 years. And he is sent for rigorous training. And during his training, it is taught that, the more sweat you shed from the body at this time, the less blood you will shed in the war. During training, he was beaten and made so steely that neither any spiritual power, nor any animal nor any enemy, could not spoil anything. After his 3 years of training, when Leonidas was 10 years old, he was sent into the forest, in the dark winter nights, and that night was the night of his examination, where he had to prove to himself that he was ready to face any situation. When Leonidas reaches the forest, he encounters a dreaded wolf, and seeing that wolf, it seemed that he was hungry for a long time. But upon seeing that wolf, Leonidas was neither afraid of anything nor worried about losing his life. He was passionate about only one thing, that was to prove himself that now he is ready for any situation. And during the encounter with the wolf, Leonidas takes out his spear and passes it through the mouth of the wolf. Seeing his bravery, Leonidas was made the king of Sparta. Slowly with the passage of time, Leonidas was living a happy life with his wife, children and the people of his kingdom. But dark clouds started pouring over his empire when, commander of Spartan army, comes to Leonidas and tells that the messenger of Paris has come to meet you. Listening to commander, Leonidas goes to meet the messenger of Paris and says to him, "What can I do for you? And what message have you brought to me from Paris?" So the messenger speaks only 2 words, land and water. So the messenger says that I have come from Xerxes, the king of Persia. They have an army of millions, and if they shoot arrows at you, the sun will also be covered above you, the sky will turn black, and on the earth, the dead bodies of your people will be scattered. The messenger again says, to surrender Sparta's land and water to Xerxes and at the same time accept the subjugation of Xerxes, in return for which the merciful Xerxes will further upgrade your Sparta. Simultaneously, the messenger had brought the king of another kingdom by beheading it, so that he could show Leonidas what would happen to him, who did not listen to him. But Leonidas gets angry on hearing this, and he kicks the messenger and kills him by dropping him in the well. Leonidas had understood that now the war between him and the Xerxes would start soon. But there was a very old Sparta tradition that no war could be won without the blessings of the priest. That's why Leonidas, following his custom, goes to the priests, who were old hypocrites and ugly in appearance. On reaching, Leonidas tells his whole plan. How, by entering the narrow path, he will put to death the entire military forces of the Xerxes. But at the same time, old hypocrites say that what will we get in return for your help? So there Leonidas gives them lots of gold, but in reply, the hypocritical priest says that we have to talk to the oracle. What happens here is that the hypocritical priests make the beautiful girls of Sparta a means to talk to God, and then keep the women close to them, so that he can have sex with them. Leonidas does that too to win this battle, brings a beautiful woman there, and asks that hypocritical priest, "What is the percentage of winning in this battle?" Then they say that, "Now it is the day of the festival of Cornea, the month of August is the month of festivals for Sparta, at this time they do not fight, but they enjoy the festival, and the matter is that, at this time, Spartan can't fight any war." Leonidas gets very angry on hearing this, because to him, his people, his land, his water were the most important thing. The very next day, Leonidas leaves alone to fight an army of millions with his 300 most skilled and smartest warriors of Sparta. On their way, Theron and his MPs meet and say, "Why are you going to fight when the priests refuse to fight?" Then Leonidas says that, "I am not going for battle. I am just going for a walk in the north, and these 300 people are my bodyguards. And as far as Sparta's army is concerned, they are still in Sparta." Although Theron is sold, in the hands of the Xerxes, and it was his trick that Leonidas did not get the entire army in the battle. But no one was going to stand before Leonidas' passion. There, his wife and his 7-year-old child also come to bid him goodbye. Leonidas, while leaving his wife, only says that, "Take care of your people." While saying goodbye to Leonidas, his wife takes out the locket from her neck and puts it around his neck, and tells him to come back only after winning. Because he believed that Leonidas was the person before whom enemies trembled. After a sad goodbye, he moves on with his 300 warriors. On the way, they meet some Arcadians, who are 200 in number. And they ask them that, "We have heard that you are going to fight a war against the Xerxes, that's why we also came with you, but it does not seem that your army will be able to defeat the army of millions." Then Leonidas asks the people of the Arcadian, "What do you guys do?" So some say that, "I am a blacksmith," some say that, "I am a sculptor," then some say that, "I am a farmer." So Leonidas tells Arcadian that, "Once asking my team, see who does what." So someone from Arcadian's team asks, "What do you do?" So all unitedly speaking together in one voice, "We are all Spartans." His voice showed that he was ready to lay down his life for Sparta, whether the army in front was 30,000 or 3 million, fear is not in their hearts. Meanwhile, Leonidas' eyes fall on a hunchbacked man who was chasing them, but Leonidas ignores him and moves on. On going further, they get a kingdom which is completely burnt. After killing each and every people, dead bodies are laid all over the city. Suddenly a small child comes walking from the front and comes straight to Leonidas and falls in his lap. Leonidas asks the child, "What happened after all?" Then the child tells that, "Some demons had come here, which were not less than black shadows. They killed everyone," and after saying this, the child dies on his lap. Then Arcadian tells them that, "They are indestructible, no one can conquer them, no one can kill them." So in response, Leonidas says that, "We will decide on this matter with the swords of the Spartans." After that they all move forward together, and through the narrow path of the mountain reach the seashore, and then they saw that many Persian ships in the sea are coming towards them. At the same time it started raining and lightning start flashing, due to which thousands of Persians were drowned in the water and killed. Seeing this, every Spartan seemed happy, but there was only one person who was silent, that was Leonidas. The next day, through that narrow road, a detachment of Parsi troops reaches, and asking Leonidas to retreat. But there Leonidas's army had already killed some of his people and had piled up their dead bodies. Then the head of that troop tells Leonidas that, "How will you deal with an army of lakhs of soldiers, with just a handful of soldiers? Even at this time you have a chance to save yourself and your people, kneel before the king, save your children and women from being slaves." But one of the member of Spartan army gets so angry at his words, and cuts off his hand at the time. After that, the Persian army, in the number of thousands, arrives there to face those 300 Spartans. But where the Spartans were less than anyone, they were at the gates of hell, which was a narrow path in the middle of the hills. The Spartans had some special strategy of fighting that some would push them forward as shields and some would kill them with spears. Because of this strategy, they put all those soldiers to death. After this defeat, Xerxes himself reaches to Leonidas for an agreement with his people and tells Leonidas that I am Xerxes, the king of the Persians, the god of millions of soldiers, and if you join hands with me, then I will honor you as chairman of my army. If there will be any biggest soldier in the whole of Greece, then it will be you, but for this you will have to kneel before me. So Leonidas says that what was said earlier is true, but I did not like to kneel in front of you, and anyway I have got a little stiffness in my thigh after killing your people, so that's why I am sorry, Xerxes, because I am turning down your offer. This enrages Xerxes and then sends his most dangerous troop to fight them. In which along with humans, big monsters were also included. He was so fierce and powerful that one people was equal to 10. But even his strength does not work in front of Leonidas, he only separates his head from the torso with a single sword. But as the sun sets, the war ends. At the same time, Leonidas comes across the same hump, whose name is Epideltes. Seeing Epideltes come to him, Leonidas asks him, "What are you doing here, and why are you following us?" So Epideltes says that, "I am also a Spartan, my king, my father belonged to Sparta. But the rules of Sparta were that, if a child was found to be handicapped, hunchbacked or with any physical deformity, he would be killed there. But my mother did not want that, so he moved away from Sparta with my father and me. My father taught me to fight, and this spear, this dress and this armor are also given by him." Seeing the spirit of Epideltes, Leonidas says to show your shield by raising it, but due to hunchback, Epideltes was unable to lift his shield. So Leonidas tells him that your father must have taught you the shape of the phalanges, because in battle every Spartan protects his mate on his left with his shield, and if a single shield in the entire row becomes weak, all the people will die. That's why I'm sorry my friend, I can't join you in this battle. Epideltes prays to him a lot and says that, I was made to fight in the war. I want to lay down my life for my country and my people and die the death of a martyr. So in response Leonidas says that you can do other things in this war like, removing dead corpses, giving water to the injured in the war and helping them in times of need. But all these things prick the Epideltes and he throws his shield and spear at him and goes straight to the Xerxes. Going there, he reveals all the hidden secrets and strengths of Leonidas, in front of Xerxes. In return, Xerxes gives him women, wealth and so many things, so that now Epideltes' had completely met on their side. After losing his warriors in battle, Xerxes envisions the Asian magician using bombs and shells to defeat the Spartan team. And during the fight, Leonidas's military captain's son dies. And the captain cried so much in the sorrow of his son, that it would take 3 people to handle him. He was burning in the fire of revenge in such a way that he would give a vision of hell to every soldier who came in front of him. Meanwhile, we get to see the queen of Leonidas, who wanted to send the entire army of Sparta to help in their battle to save her husband, but the MPs were not ready for this. That's why his queen calls the parliamentarians' main man, Theron, to meet him, but Theron's evil intentions were already on Leonidas's wife. He only wanted her to be his queen for one night. Even without wanting, his wife has to make physical relations with Theron. Here in the battlefield, the Arcadians tell him that the Xerxes know everything about the Western Hill and about your strategies. They are sending a detachment to attack us. So Leonidas says that we are Spartans, neither do we kneel in front of anyone nor give up. Even if death comes before us, we will fight it firmly. But all of the Arcadians leave, because they did not want to die needlessly. Now Leonidas and all his men know that death awaits him. On the other hand, Leonidas calls one of his special soldiers, Dilios, to him and tells him to go back and tell everyone that neither we should run away from the battle nor we should kneel. The land and waters of Sparta were ours in the past, are now, and will be in the future. Go and tell people to remember us. On this, Dilios says that, is there any message for the queen too? So Leonidas says that, there is no word to say, give back this necklace that she gave me, and say, just remember us. Here in Parliament, the queen urges everyone that, we should send an army of Sparta to help Leonidas in the war, but the deceitful Theron tells her that, she is a wicked woman, she tried to have physical relations with me. Enraged by this, the queen kills him with her own knife. When his gold coin bag is opened and all the parliamentarians learn that Theron has been sold to Xerxes. On the other hand, in the battlefield, Xerxes now stands in front of Leonidas, and then a soldier comes out of his army and tells Leonidas that, your handful of soldiers cannot face our millions of soldiers, your death is certain. But if you join hands with our kind king, then you will be able to become the greatest soldier of Greece and rule the whole world by becoming his commander. But instead you have to give up this shield and this spear of yours, showing your loyalty to the great Xerxes. An angry Leonidas was looking at Xerxes, and now to save his people as well as, not to kill his soldiers, he gives up his shield and spear from his hands. And kneels down in front of Xerxes, and then Xerxes stands up and says that from now onwards all your children and women are ours. Upon hearing this, Leonidas gets angry and shouts loudly, Stelios. Then Stelios stands up and attacks them vigorously and kills his soldier right there in front of him. And what was to happen then? Leonidas draws his spear and strikes at Xerxes, and the spear pierces Xerxes's cheekbones and cuts his cheek. But then the army of archers standing on the hill, pierces Leonidas' soldiers with their arrows. Due to which Leonidas along with his brave soldiers attain the same martyrdom. On the one hand, there was an atmosphere of war and on the other hand, Dilios goes to the MP and tells to his people that, the king neither wants big monuments nor the bugle of his own victory. They just wanted from his people to remember us that, neither they kneeled nor bowed their heads in front of the enemy. And at the end of the film, it is shown that Dilios is preparing his 30,000 soldiers to take fight with Xerxes. And soon we will explain the next part of this movie as well. And if you like our explanation then please subscribe our channel. See you in next video.